So Yannick, I'll start right where I finished my interview with Patrick Keek, who is the General Director of EASA, and it's about machine learning, the artificial intelligence and how we are digitizing the whole industry. And now Thales is obviously one of the major components in that respect, providing avionics, providing systems, providing interconnectivity.
I think the general public is not ready as of yet to have the machine being controlled by a system that will have its own intelligence, for sure. The technology is ready. We could organize an automatic flight as we speak. Clearly, we do have the system and that is feasible. That's why what we were saying this morning is that we should have an experiment first with the unmanned vehicle, controlling those vehicles from what is called a UTM, an unmanned vehicle traffic management, and show that it is safe, that it is efficient, before we see a passenger air transport flight being fully automatic.
So obviously at the moment management is more of an issue, but also we have another industrial issue, which is the chip manufacturers who are still struggling to keep up with demand. How is that impacting your part of the industry?
It's clearly one of the issues of the supply chain problem that the industry is having today. One of the big issues, I would say. There are others, but it's one of the big issues. It's not improving, to tell you the truth. We see still a lot of pressure in that supply chain. You have to know that a lot of the silicon wafer are built in Asia, and mainly between China and Taiwan, with some in South Korea as well. But that region has been very much impacted by COVID longer than we had in the Western world. So clearly it's been a bottleneck. The geopolitical tension don't help either, as you know. So clearly that industry is still very much at the end of 2023. The more industrial need of those ships will take priority, and that the pressure will decrease then, but we will still have to plan very much ahead. We used to plan pre-crisis 3 months ahead. Now we are planning 2 years ahead.
Okay.
2 years ahead, with prices that have increased and some people taking benefit of the shortage, jacking up price. This is not inflation, this is just people taking their opportunity to earn money due to the shortage.
But at the same time, that could actually optimize the processes, because you can plan well ahead in that 2-year period.
As well, if the schedule are respected. The problem is even though you plan ahead, you have some decommitment that happen very often still today.
Yeah. So you said that's one of the major problems.
Yes, the aerospace industry.
What are the others?
Yeah, there are many other shortages. The most famous one is titanium. Although not that much of a problem for Thales, or not a problem for Thales, for the industry.
The industry as a whole. Raw materials.
Yeah, raw material in general, but mostly titanium, because the source of titanium was coming mainly from Russia. So clearly an issue, and more than the raw material itself, it's more forging of titanium that is an issue, but also chemical parts like glues, like many chemical components that are used in composite are also being short in supply. So that's really generally pressure on the supply chain. Pressure on the logistic as well. So more globally, everything is difficult to restart in volume. And as you know, we are growing in volume because the rates are coming back, and therefore we are growing in volume. So we need more. After a 40% decrease, we are starting to grow again. And clearly we have difficulty to keep up with the supply on that growth path.
Is that also giving a kind of a backwards trend in terms of innovation and implementation of new technologies and ideas?
No, I don't think so. You know, clearly through the COVID period, one good thing came out of it is that the trends that we were describing again in the conference have been, you know, put in front of you know, the eyes of everybody, and therefore it has helped the funding of the technology that is needed to fight those challenges, like the decarbonization, which is one example, but also the digitalization. So clearly we have also more means from the government themselves to organize the operation as well. So I don't think that is slowed down. Quite the contrary, it has been accelerating actually.
And last but not least, you mentioned people. So what about manpower and brain power, most of all?
That's one big issue.
Do you see also a backwards trend in terms of talent?
Yes, clearly this is one of the biggest issue we are facing today, is finding the talent that we need to work on those new technology that will emerge. You know, if I take just the example of France, we are training roughly 35,000 engineers per year. The industry needs 65,000. So we have a net of 30,000 engineers missing. And you know, if you take all the Western world, you know, depending on the size of the country, the figures vary, but we are in shortage of brain. So we need to diversify the location where we do those things. As far as Thales is concerned, we are working with the Indian government because they are training 10 times more engineers than we do in France. And therefore, clearly they have a resource that is scarce in France that they have. So we need to be intelligent about that and to explain that to our employee base as well, because it's not always well understood.
And it's just a part of the solution. What the business can do about it? Could you invest as well into training that talent?
Yes, we do that more for workers on the plant, on our plant, where we have school to train the people to be electronics, for example.
Yeah, that's the last mile of their training.
Yes, so clearly, yes, the last mile of training, or even, you know, more profound training of out-of-job people, you know, training them even with basic course and going from there. So when you're a big organization, these are things we do actually to help find the people we need in our plants.